You are a part of this debate. You can join the conversation for the next hour by using the hashtag Fox26Debate. You can post your questions on our live streams on Facebook or on YouTube. You can also tweet us directly at Lena DeFlorius at GrugenFox26.
A coin toss determined the order of opening and closing statements. Candidates will be given 1 minute for their answers to our questions tonight and 30 seconds for rebuttal. We have timekeepers with flashcards to keep things moving. Now let's get started.
So you'll want to please keep an eye on the timekeeper and please try to keep the time. You will each have 90 seconds apiece for your opening statements. As a result of the coin toss, Senator Whitmire, you are first. To you, 90 seconds.
Thank you, and thanks to Channel 26 and to the American Turkish Business Council for bringing us together. I'm excited to be here tonight, and quite frankly, anyone that can hear my voice ought to be excited tonight because we're very close to the opportunity to elect me mayor of the city of Houston. With my election, Houston will become a safer community. We'll have an infrastructure that we can travel on. We'll have a water supply that is reliable. We will have permitting and city services that you can depend on. So there's a reason for all of us to come together tonight and be excited. I know for a fact Houston will be safer the first day that I'm serving as mayor. We will have a unity in our city that we haven't experienced in recent days. Houston will look like the people that are gathered here tonight. City Hall will reflect the city of Houston's diversity. There will be so much to be pleased with. Our garbage pickup will be on time. We'll no longer put it out on Monday as I do and cross my fingers that it's picked up. We'll see reliable city services. We'll bring our community together. And we will have someone that works across the aisle that can get along with Austin and Washington and work together and have the unity that we celebrate on a regular basis. So let's be excited about this opportunity to elect me mayor of the city of Houston. Thank you.
Senator Whitmire. Thank you so much. And now we have 90 seconds for you, Congresswoman.
I'm grateful to be here tonight. And I thank the great community that is sponsoring this, along with our media sponsor and all of you. Houston wants to move ahead on hope. We're tired of hearing how bad we are, how things can't get done, how someone is coming in riding on a white horse and changing everything. Let me first of all thank all of the city workers, all of our public safety workers, police and fire. Thank you for what you do for our city. You want a mayor that is creative and creative thinking and will help you do better, that will find ways to use the powerful dollars of the federal government to ensure, like I did just about 3 weeks ago, $6 million came in from the Department of Justice to provide more police officers for this city. And of course, all of the monies that will be helped in dealing with our water issues, to bring those water bills down. Hope is what this city wants. We want to be able to stand together, not divide neighborhoods. Don't speak about division, speak about unity. That's what I intend to do because I've done it before. And I am very appreciative that I've just found out tonight that I've got Little Joe's endorsement. I have endorsements from all over this city because people believe in hope. Cesar Paredes. Yes, we can. That's Houston, and that is the Houston that I intend to lead as the mayor of the city of Houston.
Congresswoman, thank you.
And now to our first topic of the evening. Candidates, everything we've learned from polls and more importantly heard directly from voters confirms that cracking down on crime and improving public safety must be the top priority of the next mayor. Question. Why will you deliver tangible results more rapidly and more effectively than your opponent? Congresswoman, you go first.
In crime fighting, it cannot be my way or the highway. We'll have to work with our fellow city council members. We'll work with civic and super neighborhoods. We'll be a listening ear to where the crime fighting needs to start. The high-risk areas, the high-crime areas. Take the example that I've been citing the entire time of this campaign. You go to the high-risk areas, you go in deeply with law enforcement, as was done in Midtown, and you rid the community of the violent criminals and that crime, they've been safe since that time. Target the high-risk areas. Be able to put in neighborhood storefronts. Work with businesses to provide the funding for that. Get the federal dollars, real federal dollars. Work with the constables, work with the sheriffs, work with the HPD, work with the federal law enforcement. Layer it. Be the person that brings law enforcement together so they target together. Drugs are off the street, guns are off the street because we're using all the resources. And yes, we're using our neighbors because crime fighting is not a lone operation. It's an operation of unity. We'll work together, and under Mayor Jackson Lee, we'll get it done.
Senator Whitmire, 1 minute.
Well, first of all, if you don't admit you have a problem, you'll never solve it. Houstonians know that we have a public safety challenge. I'm uniquely qualified as chairman of criminal justice in the state Senate to address public safety. I have a record of being tough and smart on crime. I don't apologize for wanting to lock up violent offenders that have put a gun in your face as they did my family and myself in 1992. That person got 25 years in prison, served 12. He came out a better person. Likewise, be smart on crime. Address alcohol addiction, drug use, mental health services. So we've got to be tough and smart, but first we've got to admit that we have an issue. We've got to increase our recruiting of Houston police officers. We've got to collaborate with other agencies. But most importantly, we have to let non-violent individuals know that there is a second chance for them. And we've got to let the violent offenders know we're coming after you if you put a gun in somebody's face.
Congresswoman, 30-second rebuttal.
Well, unfortunately, under the tenure of my good friend, the senator, more African Americans and Hispanics were locked up in the state system. Yes, we can be better and smarter at crime. I've shown that. The investment of dollars that I've given to be able to help in education, to be able to help in job creation, and the reentry programs, we can still do. And as well, no one here is doubting that we must stand up against crime. But the real issue is, how do we stand up? By victimizing individuals like nonviolent criminals who now are staying longer because of his tenure as chairman of that committee. When I work,
Congresswoman,
I make sure that we have a fair justice system and we fight crime.
Congresswoman, I ask both you and the senator to recognize the time limitations. We want to get to all the topics.
Thank you.
Speaking of, let's go to the next topic. Houstonians have paid nearly $1.5 billion since 2010 when voters approved to tax themselves the street and drainage fee. Houstonians have been paying more than $100 million a year for street and drainage repair. Over the last 5 years, a recent analysis by Bill King found the city has resurfaced only about 730 miles of Houston's 16,000 miles of roadway. What is your plan for addressing the many road issues Houstonians deal with every day? And how do you intend to find out where the money earmarked for road repair has actually been spent over the last 13 years? Senator Whitmire, we'll start with you. 1 minute.
Well, first, because of lack of transparency at City Hall, we really, truly don't know where all the dollars are going. Thank goodness to the press. Last week, we exposed a contractor for the city that's supposed to be fixing our water lines. It was a startup company being run out of an apartment, getting $4 million contracts. Then another brother to a city worker got an $8 million contract. Not $1 has been administered yet toward our infrastructure. So one, we have to quit wasting dollars. We have to eliminate conflicts of interest. Yes, we have to put the money where we've told the folks it will go, on our infrastructures, our flooding, our drainage. We've got to have better maintenance of our drainage system. 2-inch rains these days will completely shut down a thoroughfare because we have such a lack of maintenance. Most of the neighborhood's maintenance, its drainage system is clogged with litter, trash, and also grass clipping. So we start at the top with leadership and make certain that it gets done. I'm known as a can-do public official.
Thank you. Congresswoman, 1 minute to you.
Well, I think what is most important for our fellow Houstonians is transparency, to first find out about the $100 million that is collected to have been used. We'll find that money, and at the same time, we'll be creative about how we deal with the questions of drainage and street repair. We need a new product. We're repairing streets, and they're still being torn up. I'll be looking for new technology to help us as we find those resources, and we have a transparent government We'll work with engineers. We'll work with the Army Corps of Engineers. We'll work with the Harris County Flood District, and we'll be able to, working with governments. I have the best relationship with Harris County. Judge Hidalgo has endorsed me. Commissioner Ellis has endorsed me. But more importantly, I've worked with every single one of the commissioners. We work together to fight flooding damage that comes about. So the idea will be do the inventory of where the money is, be able to push that money out, and design street repairs so that you will not have to come back year after year after year, and you will see the $100 million used effectively, and yes, you'll see the monies from the federal government used effectively as well.
Senator, 30 seconds for your rebuttal.
Well, first of all, I think it's unfortunate in the last question we were dealing with public safety, which is such a serious topic, that we would try to divide. My opponent would try to divide us along racial lines. She knows, like I know, the minority communities are begging, urging for public safety. The Columbia Trail near TSU could not even function because of armed robbers. So I want to address all Houstonians. We will not distinguish when we go to enforcing our state laws and our public safety. We will address concerns in every community and not try to divide this community.
Our next question involves city finances. Despite claims to the contrary by the current mayor, Houston Controller Chris Brown, former Mayor Anise Parker, and the Greater Houston Partnership have all concluded our city is rapidly heading over a fiscal cliff. How would you, as the city's Chief Executive Officer, plan to replenish the ranks of HPD and fix our other major problems with so much potential red ink on the budgetary horizon? Congressman, that question to you first.
Well, Houstonians expect a balanced budget. The economy is extremely important. And so you have to have a combination of a commitment to a structurally balanced budget, working with the chair of your finance committee, working with city council members, and ensuring, again, that we've done an inventory of all that is owned by the city to know what resources we have, to be able to access dollars, as I said, from the federal government, and telling the state, as it has not done, to stand up and own up its responsibilities of helping to provide resources to our local cities. But the main key to developing a budget that will work is getting more investment, more job creation, more jobs being created, building that sales tax. That is where I will focus to be able to build that economy and to be able to insist that we use those dollars to balance the budget. We balance the budget structurally, and we will find ourselves in a position to be able to advance projects to help with city services. So we're not at the end. We're only at the beginning. And the beginning is that we'll have a balanced budget and have city services expand as well.
Hold your applause, please. Senator, 1 minute.
First of all, we must have transparency. I don't think any of us know the true financial picture of the city of Houston, except the experts, like our current city controller, says, no, we have a real challenge. Anybody that says we have a surplus is just not looking at reality. So one, we're going to be honest, straightforward with the public. We're going to eliminate waste, conflicts of interest. We're going to partner with the county. We're going to partner with the TERS and the municipal districts, asking them to do their fair share. And for sure, we're going to treat our firefighters like they deserve to be treated. 7 years without a contract. We've got to resolve that. We've got to make our city employees, Hope, who's endorsed me, the municipal employees who keep the lights on and run the city, we've got to treat them fairly. And for sure, our police officers got to be assured that we will treat them properly and with respect each day that they put their lives on the line. All these groups have endorsed me because they want to work for John Whitmire as mayor. They know someone that will respect them, and that's what they deserve.
Congresswoman, 30 seconds. Rebuttal.
Well, let me first of all say the person who speaks divisiveness must be in the business of dividing. I have worked with city workers, county workers, state workers. I was working very closely with state workers during the pandemic. I didn't see my colleague at all, but we worked together with state agencies for vaccines and, of course, testing. The way we will handle this is to ensure that you work across the city landscape. You get everybody working together, and we'll get the job done. You pull people together because they listen to you and because you are leading.
Thank you both for keeping time. And please, just a reminder to our audience to hold your applause until the very end so we can get in all the questions from our viewers. Speaking of which, this next question is from a Fox 26 viewer, one of your constituents. Mayor Turner has been accused of trying to steer a housing development contract to a developer that he has past ties with. A top aide pleading guilty for bribery and corruption, which Turner denied any knowledge of. But this is from your viewer, James L. Honey. He writes, corruption in Houston government is growing. What will you do to stop it and turn it around? It is 1 minute to you, Senator Whitmire.
Well, first, it starts at the top. You've got to be transparent. You've got to give everyone equal opportunity. The city knows now to get work at the city, you have to be a friend of the current mayor. The Pappas brothers had a very viable family business at Hobby Airport. The current administration and city government went out 3 times for another bid so they could get their friends in Hobby Airport. Not only is it wrong to the Pappas family, it's wrong to Houstonians. We're losing revenue at Hobby Airport because the new brands have not been accepted. So we've got to eliminate conflicts of interest. You've got to call in the press to be transparent, and you ought to respect the press when they ask you questions, doing their job. You don't speak down to them. You don't disrespect. You know, too many public officials talk down to people. You've got to respect people. Let them do their job. So there's so many more things we could discuss about City Hall and their conflicts. I hope we do tonight.
Congresswoman, 1 minute.
From the time that I started campaigning, I talked about transparency, and that will not change. We expect to have a person in my office dealing with ethics and as well working with an inspector general. We'll investigate anything that doesn't seem that it impacts positively the people of this city. We want to make sure that all businesses have a fair opportunity to access the ability to do business. And let us also be concerned about small businesses. Many of them were included in the new effort at the airport, and that's reasonable. I started on City Council where I helped a lot of small businesses who stayed in the airports for a very long period of time and built up the economy by having these contracts and creating jobs. So I'm going to be a supporter of small businesses, but I'm a supporter of transparency. That will be in my office. That one dark light will be over any contract. The public will know, City Council will know, we'll work on it together, and we'll build the economy together because everyone will be sitting at the table of empowerment.
Senator, 30 seconds for your rebuttal. Senator, 30 seconds for your rebuttal.
Well, I guess like we all know, the proof is in the pudding. Look at what's happening at City Hall. Look at last week. Contracts were given out to people that really have ghost businesses. And when the press tries to ask them at their apartment about their newfound business and their $4 million of city contracts, they wouldn't even come outside. So I want everyone to know there will be changes at City Hall. It will be transparency. There will not be conflicts of interest as we currently witness.
Our next question involves the firefighters. Through multiple disasters, a raging crime wave, and a vicious pandemic, the men and women of the Houston Fire Department answered tens of thousands of calls for service, delivering life-saving aid and rescue. And they have done it for the past 7 years without a contract, despite being granted collective bargaining by the people of Houston. It is well documented that the current mayor's inability or unwillingness to resolve the impasse has left a massive liability in the lap of his successor, a bill for multiple years of back pay and benefits. Question: how will you deliver justice to the firefighters given the financial constraints one of you will inherit? And let's start with you, Congresswoman, please.
All of our city workers deserve dignity, respect, and as well compensation. There is a bill that has been passed that is going to direct our pathway, and that is that it directs us to a form of mediation. But the CEO has to manage the payment and resources for city workers, city services. That is what I will do. We will find a way to be able to compensate our firefighters, as I said, building on our economy, working with additional federal funds, which, by the way, can be utilized for compensation as relates to our workers. And so we'll find that pathway. At the same time, we'll have ability to provide a structure of payment because it will come through the mediation process. And then we will make sure that no city services are cut and no city workers are cut. On the many people that my opponent has agreed to receive support from, he has those who have said cut city services and cut city workers. That I will not do.
Senator, 1 minute.
Well, first of all, I don't know where she dug that up, but it doesn't matter. The bottom line is she criticized me at her opening remarks that I shouldn't be critical of conditions in the city of Houston. Well, let me just tell you, if you like the status quo, then I'm not your candidate, because I'm going to take care of the firefighters. The city's ignored them, underpaid them, disrespected them for 7 years. I passed legislation in Austin at the firefighters' request. They were at their ends. We were losing firefighters to surrounding communities. We can't recruit firefighters in our academy. We're going to throw out the city's challenge to the firefighters the first day, because we're going to sit down. I was taught early in my public service career, get everybody in the room and don't leave until you have a solution. Public safety means firefighters too. Then we're going to move on and take care of our municipal employees, solid waste, and for sure, police officers, you'll be taken care of as well. We don't have to wait till we have a tragedy to honor our police officers. Let's do it while they're healthy and patrolling.
Congress, please hold your applause. Congresswoman Jackson Lee, 30 seconds.
Well, I'm the only candidate here that served on the Houston City Council under 2 mayors, and at that time, my working relationship with police and fire and city workers were the best. We communicated, we worked together. There is no problem, there is no rocket science to knowing that the CEO will be sitting down, working with all of the public safety participants, police and fire, getting the job done. I'm glad to have been endorsed by the black firefighters who are likewise equally concerned about their compensation. And so we will get people in the room and work out the problem. But you have to find the money. And we have to make sure we find the money that all of our city workers are taken care of. And there are those who've endorsed my opponent who's run on the idea of cutting city services and cutting city workers. I won't do that at all.
Let's stay with money. Metro's budget for 2024 is $1.6 billion. It includes $5.5 million for a new 24-hour bike share program. Numbers from the American Public Transportation Association show Metro gave just over 60 million rides last year. A 2015 report by the Hamilton Group shows Houston Metro loses $1.23 per ride. Using those numbers, the math shows that Metro is operating at a $673 million loss each year. Given the projected financial shortfalls, could and should some of the money set aside for Metro be used more effectively elsewhere? If so, where would it be best used? Senator Whitmire, 1 minute to you.
First of all, we've got to focus on our mobility. Metro plays a critical role, but Metro needs to listen to the residents. They're continuing to forecast the ridership, which was based in 2017 before COVID. It's a different world. I want to work with Metro. We'll focus on mobility. We will ask them to repair some of the streets that their buses are tearing up. We will ask them to help some drainage on their bus lines. But more importantly, we want it to be user-friendly. Have you looked at the 105-degree weather, temperatures with people standing at a bus stop? They don't even have the decency to give them a bench, much less a covered shelter. Metro is vital to Houston's future, but they've also got to be responsive to our current needs, which I do not believe they're doing. It starts at the top. We'll have leadership at Metro that is user-friendly, and we'll get back to their basic purpose of furnishing transportation. I want transportation for someone in Acres Home that needs to get to the med center without making it an all-day trip. We can do better.
And to you, 1 minute.
The reason why Metro is now moving as far ahead as they are is the $900 million that I brought from the United States federal government Department of Transportation to jumpstart Metro under the Obama administration that they're still utilizing. Metro must be the symbol of transportation for the city. We must make sure that parents, young workers, the senior citizens needing to get out of their neighborhood and get to destinations have a direct route. Maybe my good friend does not know that the federal government has partnership with Metro, and we're putting in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of new bus shelters that are coming about because of federal dollars and federal partnership. The main idea is to make sure that Metro doesn't waste its money, uses it in a fiscally responsible way, but the main idea is to make sure that the mayor of the city of Houston, which he's already indicated, is not going to gut Metro by using those dollars and taking them away and using them for non-transit responsibilities. Let's keep Metro as the transit center point, and let's help our citizens go back and forth. That's what I'll do as mayor, make sure it's used effectively.
Senator, 30 seconds for your rebuttal.
First of all, I want shelters that people can sit in and have a covered shade. Yes, the federal government sent down millions of dollars for more concrete. Watch across town at a bus stop. Yeah, they've got a new sidewalk. They have access to the street, but there is someone standing there in the hot sun or the weather, the rain, with no cover, no bench to sit on. Just pay attention for yourself. So I want Metro to quit spending $25 million a year on advertisement and be user-friendly in their daily usage. Thank you.
Thank you both. With that, we'll give you just a moment for water. We are going to take a break, but first just want to remind you that you are a part of this debate. If you have questions for our candidates, you can always share them with us on our live streams on Facebook and on YouTube. You can tweet us directly. I have been checking at Lena DeFlorius at Grugan Fox 26 as well. Again, we'll take just a quick break, and then we'll reconvene in just a moment. Now you have no cheers? There's And welcome back to our Fox 26 Houston mayoral runoff debate. The election is coming up on the 9th. Early voting has started today. We are getting you informed with the debate between the runoff candidates here to get you answers to your questions that several of them have been submitted by you and your fellow voters. So how do you feel the two are doing? You can vote now and get your voting out of the way here as a practice. Fox26Houston.com, or if you hold up your camera phone to the TV right now, that QR code will take you to either our website or to our Fox 26 mobile news app, where you can vote now as a practice before you head over for early voting.
All right, I've got the next question, and it's one we asked every single non-mayoral candidate in the runoff, and we believe it's a fair question to ask to both of you as well. That is, what have you learned about your opponent that you hope voters have learned as well? Senator Whitmire, you are up first for a minute.
Well, first of all, we're both very well established elected officials. We both have records, and I believe it's a very clear choice for Houstonians. I would encourage everyone to vote. Turnout, let me repeat it again, turnout is critical in this race, and I think we have a clear choice. I was excited when we started tonight because we're very close to having the opportunity to elect me mayor of Houston. I will not divide this city. I will not accuse someone of locking up just black or brown people. That's what we're trying to end in our community. Bring people together. And I think it's a clear choice on December 9th. I would urge you to vote early. We don't know what the weather would be on December 9th. So I think it's a clear choice, and I will trust the judgment of Houstonians. Houstonians have been very kind to John Whitmire, me, as I cross the city. We've built a tremendous coalition across this community. So thank you for having us here tonight. I'll leave it to the good judgment of Houstonians.
Congresswoman, 1 minute.
Well, it's a wonderful journey that I've had to take, but I've been taking this journey as a member of the United States Congress. I've built coalitions from the time I began to serve in public life. My friends are beyond my congressional boundaries. And so my word to my worthy opponent is that I look forward without arrogance to the voters deciding what kind of mayor that they would like to have. One who is inspirational and looks to the future and brings us together, or one who is looking backwards and talking about how a small business should not have gotten a contract, when in actuality, it was documented that they rated higher. We want to make sure everybody's at the seat of empowerment. But there are a concern that the small guys do not get in the door. That's what I've learned in that campaign. With millions and millions of dollars against me, I'm still standing. Didn't have the opportunity to build up a war chest for 50 years. We don't have those laws in the United States Congress. But I've earned and collected and raised every dime, and I've gone to every door to try to say to people, do you want a mayor that sees you and knows you? And I hope that that's what they will select. Sheila Jackson Lee is the next mayor of the city of Houston.
Senator Whitmire, 30 seconds.
Well, I'm very pleased to have the endorsement of groups that have screened both candidates. Very proud to have the police endorsement, HPOU, the firefighters, the African-American police officers, the Spanish-speaking police officers. If we do not solve public safety, nothing else that we talk about tonight matters. It's affecting our quality of life. It's affecting our economy. Property values in the Galleria are going down because people are afraid to shop in the Galleria. We can do much better, and I offer that.
Focusing on governance. Houston has had a contentious relationship with state leaders in Austin and often has not worked in concert with Harris County as well as it could. How would you smooth the waters, and what would your mayoral office's working relationship look like with Harris County, with Austin, and with D.C. to ensure Houston's success? And we will start with you, Congresswoman. 1 minute. Congresswoman.
I will embrace them. I'll embrace Harris County. I'll embrace the state of Houston, because that's my responsibility as the mayor of the city of Houston. I would have hoped that my opponent would have been more effective in working to help us over the years. He was not. He allowed the takeover, didn't say anything, allowed the struggle that we have had in the housing, where I sent $4 billion to the state of Texas for housing after Hurricane Harvey, and they held it back under the pretense that they couldn't get along with the city. Well, I'm going to outwardly engage the governor, engage the legislature, but I'll also be able to engage the federal government and county government. The relationships are very good. And so bringing all of them together, emphasizing to the state government that you have federal dollars that you're using. Those are federal dollars for our cities, for Dallas, for Houston, for San Antonio. I look forward to embracing them and getting the job done, but I will not be silent on behalf of the citizens of the city of Houston.
Congresswoman, thank you. Senator, 1 minute.
Well, first of all, you can't start working with other people when you get in the mayor's race. You can't attack TxDOT because they're trying to do something on Interstate 45. You can't attack the governor. You can't attack the lieutenant governor. Yes, when they're wrong, you can disagree with them. But we have to have someone, and I'm uniquely qualified, as the only Democratic chair in a Republican Senate to work across the aisle. I can work with our new land commissioner, who was a former state Senate colleague of mine. I can bring resources to Houston like no one else has ever served as mayor. Working across the aisle gets results. I've been attacked by my opponent for being too close to those on the other side of the aisle, but I can count. I've passed significant legislation last spring because I was able to work across the aisle. In fact, the city of Houston asked me to carry legislation for them because I can get votes across the aisle. I just want to fix things, regardless of bringing who you have to work with.
Congresswoman, you have exactly 30 seconds for your rebuttal.
Well, I'm a problem solver, and I would just say that it's shameful that someone would attack an elected official for helping their constituents. I didn't attack TxDOT. I happened to give them a lifeline to work with the U.S. Department of Transportation for the city of Houston and the county to get MOUs. Without me, they would not have gotten that. Representing the homeowners and the apartment owners and the people that TxDOT was getting ready to roll over, and the people in public housing. But we came out where we all worked together because I acted as an elected official and I fought for my constituents. As mayor, I will do that, and we will work together. Yes, that's it.
Thank you both. This next question.
Please hold your applause.
This next question is an amalgamation of several viewer questions that were hitting on the same topic. Houston, one of the most ethnically diverse cities in the country. Latest census data shows 74% of Houstonians identify as non-white. The question, what would you do as mayor to ensure city leadership is representative of Houston's diverse makeup, and how would you communicate city services to traditionally underserved communities? Congresswoman, to you, 1 minute.
This is an exciting question because this city is exciting. I have really gone from the landscape of this town from east to west and north to south. Absolutely yes. Will my administration represent the breadth and depth of diversity? From the Vietnamese community to the Chinese community to the API, of course, but all these different levels. They had a wonderful festival this weekend. The African community, the Latino community, the Anglo community, the African American. We will have a seat for everyone. Gen Z and millennials, they need to be heard. The LGBTQ plus community, we cannot have stigmas against anyone, and people of different faith will all have a seat at this table. We're in some challenging times. People want to hear about leadership. They want to see that you are welcoming them to the table of empowerment. My door will be open. I said that I would look forward to having an open house and open door for the people of Houston. Come to City Hall, and we will work together. Yes, you will have a seat at the table in helping to run the city of Houston.
Thank you. Senator, 1 minute.
We brag about our diversity, rightfully so. We're the most diverse city in the nation, something to be proud of. I went to high school here. I attended U of H. I've watched this beautiful transition. It's taken place as we gather here tonight. But City Hall does not represent that diversity. Look at the department heads. Pull them up. Google them. Look at who's running the city of Houston. It's not the Asian community. The Hispanic community is severely underrepresented. So let's practice what we're so proud of. Let's bring everyone together. Let's be in every community. Let's take care of those that need a voice at City Hall. I've got a record of longevity in my office. A Korean, Gigi Lee, has been my chief of staff in my district office for 17 years. Laura Wendler, my chief of staff in Austin, has been there 20 years. People want to work for me because we get things done. We do significant things. We don't just hand out proclamations and flags. We present results.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to the next question. It involves water bills. And what many see as the most regressive, most financially debilitating burden placed on the taxpayers of Houston by the current mayor and council, water bills have increased in our city at least 50% over the past 3 years, with more automatic increases scheduled to kick in. Question: what, if anything, would you as mayor do to deliver relief? Senator Whitmire.
First of all, we've got to suspend the increases. Stop the increases on water bills till we can absolutely get transparency. Is it a bad computer? Is it bad management? The problem is no one cares. Watch them individuals, homeowners, be interviewed on the evening news. They don't know which way to turn. We specialize on constituent services in my Senate office. You call my district office, we don't refer you to another agency like 311. We go to work. We solve your problem. We need a city council and a mayor in John Whitmire, in my experience, of solving constituent problems. The water bills are outrageous. They go on for days and days. The water lines that are broken. No one will come and respond. But more importantly, the $1,100, $1,500, $2,000 water bills have to I'll have an ombudsman for the public in my office to deal with that problem.
Congresswoman, 1 minute.
You need a smart mayor who's going to know how to creatively find the resources that you need. Most people don't know that we are the 7th largest economy in the nation. That is the city of Houston. Resources are here with our corporate community. Private equity community is one of the largest in the nation. We have between $50 and $100 million that the private equity community has used in other jurisdictions to work on projects like the water system. It is broken. We need to do a complete landscape oversee, a technological oversee of the landscape of the water pipe, and we need to repair it. We need to use a public-private partnership so it doesn't have to be all public dollars. And once we repair it, then we begin to assess these water bills that have to come down, particularly for our elderly and our families. That's how I'll do it. Repair this system, bring those rates down, and work with our city workers who are in this department doing the very best they can, give them the resources so they can get these bills down, and we can have the best water system, piping system in the nation. We can get it done.
The next topic, thank you. The next topic is affordable housing. Affordable housing. Houston lost a $60 million affordable housing program funded by Harvey recovery money because the city could not meet the 2025 deadline. Another affordable housing project, the 800 Middle Street project on the east side, has begun construction next to contaminated land of a Superfund site. The Houston Housing Chair, Tiffany Thomas, said she would not feel comfortable with herself and her family living there. How would you address the need for affordable housing, and what redress will you offer Houstonians living in cancer clusters that only appear in low-income areas? And we will start with you, Congresswoman, 1 minute.
Well, it is because of the work that I have done that the cancer clusters were even discovered. And we have continued to work with the EPA, and we're making progress, even though there is such injury to the families that already were impacted by the cancer clusters. Housing is crucial. Affordable housing is crucial. There needs to be an overhaul of our housing community development, so that they get the mission and the direction of the mayor of the city of Houston, that there will be no fooling around in terms of federal funds. And federal funds, the attention of whether or not those dollars are going timely will be brought right to the front door of the mayor's office. There will be no dollars that will go back. We will work with housing, public housing as well, where there are thousands, a long list of people on Section 8 vouchers. What about the eviction numbers that are going up? My administration will be directly focused on housing Houstonians. And we'll work with Housing Community Development, our housing authority. The federal dollars that will come to us will not go back. We'll make all of the deadlines, and yes, we will house the unhoused and Houstonians who need affordable housing.
Senator, 1 minute.
Well, it starts at the top with leadership. You have to have someone that appoints a housing authority director that knows what his or her job is. First of all, cut out the conflicts of interest. Quit trying to make your friends a buck. Do away and stop and suspend the construction of a super site location. It's outrageous. It took the press to expose that. I'm shocked that there's not an outcry, a larger outcry at City Hall that, yes, we've done something wrong. We've got to investigate it. But see, you can't do that when you play the buddy system, when you have conflicts of interest, when you award projects to your friends and they make a mistake to make a get-rich scheme. We ought to have that investigated. It ought to be stopped. We've got to have affordable housing. We cannot afford to waste $1 on projects that are not justified. We've got to work with the county. We've got to work with the state. We need home ownership is what we ought to strive for every Houstonian.
Congresswoman, 30 seconds for your rebuttal.
I think it is important when we talk about housing, you got to talk about it from the heart. You're talking about families who are in the streets, elderly persons who are in the streets, and you got to be able to have a global view of it. That's another opportunity for public-private partnerships. They like the public equity community, likes investing in projects that are going to help people. I'll use them in whatever way that we possibly can, and I'll make sure that we prioritize so that those who are in desperate get housing first. And yes, I've already said transparency, without a doubt, will be the definition of my administration.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
No applause, please. Procurement is the next question. Throughout the campaign, multiple candidates have criticized the City of Houston's procurement process as deeply flawed, labeling it a pay-to-play system which shortchanges both taxpayers and legitimate contractors who lack political connections. Question: do you agree with this assessment? And if so, what type of meaningful reform would you bring to the city procurement process moving forward? We begin with you, Senator Whitmire, 1 minute.
Well, the constant theme tonight for me is transparency, do away with conflicts of interest. We don't even know who has all the airport contracts. They won't even disclose it. We won't even be able to see how they rate the people, the vendors, in their bids. We've got to have transparency, get folks that have to contribute to the mayor's race to end up in the airport or with these cities' contracts. Just look at last week, how they decided who to give a construction water line contract to stop wasting valuable water. They go to an apartment project, a guy got a $4 million contract. He won't even come to the door. He's a startup company. We need an investigation. We need a district attorney investigation. We need the Texas Rangers to examine that. Procurement is broken in the city of Houston. I will scratch our current system and start from scratch, and it'll be transparency, and Houstonians will know each and every step.
Congresswoman, 1 minute.
We want more than what has been. We want ideas to make what is going to be. And the way you have what is going to be is you bring in addition to the well-qualified individuals in this city, national experts to be able to assess the procurement process so that it can be streamlined, so it is a basis of merit. It's shameful that we have gotten away from merit on deserving the contracts, expedite the process of it, and have constant, transparent overviews to be able to see, is the system working now? The only way the mayor can continue to lead effectively is knowing how effective her departments are performing. And I will be a hands-on and a skilled person to look at the very facts of what is going on. In addition, I know that my good friend here has worked in law firms who are getting city contracts, representing the city, at the same time being an elected official. I don't have any of that. All I have is my heart and my soul and my knowledge. And so, Houston, select the person that is going to work for you and you only. Sheila Jackson Lee for mayor.
Senator Whitmire, 30 seconds for rebuttal.
You know, I want to thank Houstonians at this time for thanking me for not even mentioning my opponent in any of my commercials or my ad. Houstonians want us to talk about city issues. Yes, I'm with a firm that's got 800 lawyers. I do not know what each and every one of the lawyers do. But that's beside the point. It has nothing to do with garbage pickup, broken water mains, public safety, issues that Houstonians are thanking me for discussing. And I'll continue to do that throughout this campaign.
This next question requires brevity on both of your parts. It is the final question from one of our Fox 26 viewers and one of your constituents. They write that major concern for them, flooding. She writes, if we were underwater, nothing else matters. Harvey should have been a hard lesson, but promised detention basins have yet to be built. Developers still get their way. Projects get approved without impact studies getting done. The question for both of you, what specifically would you do as mayor to make Houston more resilient to flooding? And we will start with you, Congresswoman, 30 seconds.
I've already done it. As a member of the United States Congress, I was the only member to provide $3 million to the Army Corps of Engineers to be able to look at our bayou system to see how they work together. It was in the midst of Hurricane Harvey, to see how the systems work, to see what happened when all of downtown was flooded because of Buffalo Bayou. And so what we have to do is to see how our systems work, what has been put in. And of course, I was the only member that was present when the reservoirs broke, because obviously we wanted to help the people, but we also needed to find out what is undermining our system. So what I will do is, we've got to work with Harris County Flood District, the Army Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Department of Transportation, to make sure that we get this problem fixed, and fixed as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator, 30 seconds.
Well, what we really need is one of those federally funded additional reservoirs on the west side. Harvey compromised the reservoirs, and they haven't been improved since then. What we have to do while we get ready for Harvey, one, by having the best first responders that we can have, is number two, deal with community neighborhood drainage. We haven't had any real maintenance since Bob Lanier's efforts. We need to go in, get rid of the drainage clutter, grass clippings, and bring our neighborhoods to a safer standard.
Okay, candidates, it's time for closing statements. We're here, 90 seconds each. Congresswoman, you are up first.
I hope as you make this decision, it will not be on the basis of the millions of dollars that have been used and thrown in this race. That you will look to someone who has a long record to be able to be there when you needed them and needed her. As our mayor said, every single federally declared national disaster, and there were 7 of them, I was there for this city, particularly led on Hurricane Harvey with $155 billion, which generated the $4 billion that we were supposed to get for housing. Yes, I do honor veterans and fallen individuals by having them recognized by their nation. And I will continue to do it. And so does the mayor of the city of Houston recognize people, because we have great people in Houston. They deserve that acknowledgement, and sometimes their families welcome the acknowledgement when they've lost a loved one. There's no shame in caring. So you will elect a mayor that cares and a mayor you can trust. The mayor who's not done any side deals, any around-the-way deals. At the same time, the bus shelters, by the way, do have roofs to them, by the way, and they do have benches. I'll know what's going on in the federal government, in the state government, and the local government. I'll know what's going on in your neighborhood. I'll be able to see you and you'll see me. Diversity will be a main part of my career. And as I hold up this letter from a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old, I'm Ellie, I'm Zooey, and I hope you become mayor. And if you win, I think you'll be great. I hope you win.
Congresswoman,
love
thank
Ellie,
you.
Zooey, and Finn. That's who I'm running for.
Right.
The children
Thank you,
of this.
Please hold your applause. Okay, Senator Whitmire, 90 seconds to close.
Thank you, and thanks to our host tonight. We have a great city, great people, but we have expectations of City Hall that are just not being met. I was asked 2 years ago by constituents, Houstonians, not power brokers at City Hall, but Houstonians, would I consider leaving the state Senate and running for the mayor of Houston? It was a very tough decision. I love being in the Senate. I make a difference. But I love Houston, and I love its people. So I made that tough decision after prayerful thought that I could use my experience better closer to the problems. I've carried legislation for the city of Houston for years. Did this spring. The Turner administration asked me to carry an entertainment district to redo downtown Houston. We passed that by working across the aisle. I know for a fact that I can make a difference on public safety day one. The Houston police officers want to work for John Whitmire. The firefighters want to work for Mayor John Whitmire. Municipal employees want to. I know I can unite this city. In fact, those Houstonians, when they called me and asked me to run, said, Whitmire, we've looked at all the possibilities. You're the only one that can unite this city. You won't catch me in this campaign talking black, white, brown, Asian. That is not what we're about as Houstonians. We're all Houstonians. Let's go to work. I wish I could work in the morning and start solving Houston problems. Thank you for having us.
Thank you both so much. And thank you for tuning in. On behalf of the candidates, our political editor, Greg Rugen, myself, and
Hello, 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 my friends. It is Monday night, or whenever you are streaming this, wherever you are streaming it, you are in the bike lane. And my name is Tom. And as soon as I can find this switch right there, welcome to the Fox 26 studios. On this evening, wherever you are finding us, fox26houston.com, the Fox 26 Facebook page, or the Fox 26 YouTube channel. Lots of options. So here we are. It's a Monday as we have this conversation, and this is First of all, let's deal with this. This is the near end of November, the Movember whiskers. So, not bad, except for the fact that there's not a lot of non-gray there, which kind of sucks. So, of course, Movember is about men's health awareness. So, dudes, don't be ashamed. Get yourself checked out. Prostate cancer, testicular cancer, depression, whatever. Get checked out. If it's your health, guess what? If you don't check it out, chances are, some point, I mean, it's a one-way. Bicycle racing. I did not do a lot of bicycle riding or racing. At the Alkek Velodrome, I rode the B race. Fun. It's hard, really hard. It's difficult. It's challenging. Pin your heart rate from the jump, and you, at least in that race, you keep it up going for 30 minutes, and then you're gloriously happy when the judges say, "All right, you're done." But one of the great things about this race and every other race you do in this area or in a wider regional area, there are invariably pictures that appear of all the goings on at the event. Everybody, nearly everybody, has a picture where they can say, "Hey, look, there I am." And there are some great photographers here, but I want to talk about one in particular who has become a friend. Oh, sorry, I'm knocking on the computer there. Corvin Allstadt is his name there. Let's do that. That's the topic. Corvin Allstadt, cyclist and photographer here on the bike lane. We'll get to how I met Corvin in just a moment, but everybody in this area who rides a bicycle and does some sort of event, primarily races, but other events, has either seen this guy or they know this guy. And he knows so many people. And he's just a fantastic individual. And he is one of the cohesive things that makes the cycling community what it is. So let's start by meeting Corvin for a little bit. This was at the HTX-CX, the cyclocross race at the Alkek Velodrome. I guess this would at this point be 2 Sundays ago. So take a look.
Corvin Allstadt is many, many things. He is a cyclist, otherwise why would he be dressed like this, like this? But he's also a photographer as well, and more people, I'm not sure, Corvin, how people know you better. Is it with the camera, or is it on a bike, or is it an equal mix?
My old friends, my old racing team knows me as kind of a cyclist, and just an average one at best. But now I think most people recognize me mostly as a photographer that dabbles with bike, that rides, not really races. I pin a number, but I kind of ride.
It's kind of how I ride as well. I like the atmosphere. That's what this is. This is about atmosphere, isn't it?
It's fantastic. It's exciting. It's always, that's why I like the photography part, because it's always, there's some action, there's people you can shoot, there's spectators, there's the racers. It's always changing, and it's just, everybody just is excited to be out here.
Yeah. So I will admit that you popped on my radar. That's the wrong way. That sounds stupid. But you kind of came to my consciousness through the camera lens, because you're one of the myriad people there taking pictures of stuff. And this group as a whole loves to see pictures of themselves and other people and fun stuff, kind of tragic stuff, if you will. It's just, pictures make this, don't they?
It's like anything. Having a memory of an event which you can look back at a year from now, 2 years from now, that's always sort of exciting. But then people just really like to see themselves and post results. And so, the whole social media thing has really got people more engaged with images.
Yeah. So you are a retired architect, right? Yes. So an architect by trade, dabbled in the photography, and when I say dabbled, you're fairly deep into it. This has been a hobby for a good long while.
I've been slowly going from come out with a basic camera and took some pictures of my friends, and then it just slowly, with encouragement of with other photographers, just like going more and more pro. So it's been probably 10 or 15 years in the making.
And when I say this is a hobby, you travel to more places where you do not ride a bike, but you take pictures than I think most anybody here. Why is that? Why do you go to such an effort to go to all of those races to capture all of those images?
It's always just a new challenge, a new group of cyclists, a new event, something I'll learn from it, and plus just seeing a different background and different scenery.
Yeah.
Drove to St. Louis one time just to see what's called a Gateway Cup, because I knew the St. Louis Arch would be there,
Yeah.
and I could get a group shot of some of the other pro cyclists at the St. Louis Arch. So there was a lot of different motivations to going there, just besides just the incredible scenery.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on our clock here because we're supposed to race in about 13 minutes or ride really hard, one of those. What, in your opinion, and I think probably every photographer has their own answer to this, but for you, what makes a great shot?
To me, I think it's just what they call a decisive moment. So there's a little bit of action that you've captured somebody in the middle of the air, or they have a beautiful expression. They're smiling, they're sad, they're angry. So you're basically capturing some emotion. You're capturing a specific part of the race. So there's some backdrop to it, like there's the velodrome or something. That's kind of what I look for when I'm shooting.
How many gigabytes of memory worth of pictures do you have? Can you count that high?
I have multiple hard drives that, like five gig hard drives that I'm slowly filling up. So it's I don't know.
It's tens of thousands of pictures.
It's probably maybe 500,000 pictures.
All right.
But I'm not sure. I don't know. It's as I get more and more into it, it's like if I'll go out, I'll shoot 800, 900 images.
Yeah. One of the remarkable things, and again, how you and I met, is that visually the vast majority of these people. You snap a picture and you'll tag them on Facebook, primarily, Instagram perhaps, and I had never met you, and you tagged a picture of me, and I wonder, how the heck did this guy know me? And how do you keep track of all of these people?
It is always challenging. I rely on some people tagging for me. Plus, I also snap a picture of the entries, who's here. And it's usually sometimes just have to line up an entry number with a rider if I don't really know them. But if I see somebody at 2 or 3 races, I kind of know who they are. And particularly if they're ride with some sort of bravado or flair.
How gratifying is it when somebody says, "Hey, Corbin, thanks for that picture. That was great."
It really makes my day. You'd be surprised, but I hear it only once in a while. And
really?
Yeah, I think So I don't know. Sometimes I hear it all the time. Hey, thanks for coming out. It's your job. I don't know. It just depends on the event. When I go to a new event, there's just a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. They're very excited to see me just because we have a lot of fun. I mean, part of it is just I like taking pictures because I get to interact with somebody. Take their picture, go joke with them.
Excuse me. There are a lot of professional photographers that show up at these things, and I think you're very professional myself. I know you call it a hobby, but do y'all look at each other's work and say, "Hey, nice job, buddy"?
Oh yeah, it's a small community, and I just get better by looking at my competition. So
it's true.
I always, when I can, look at their work, and then either I've had a mentor help me get to where I'm at. So I always try, think about it's like helping the next guy, pay it forward, because their styles are always different. So it's not really competition. It's if someone likes your image, they're going to buy it, and if you're doing good work, that will speak for itself.
I absolutely agree with that. You get stronger on a bike by riding with people stronger than you, and you get better in your profession and your hobbies by paying attention to people who are better than you. So, all right, let's go pay attention to people who are better than us out on the bike. So we're going to go do that. Corbin, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
Love you, man.
Love you.
I mean every syllable of that. He's just a great fellow, Corbin. So some of you may recall, depending on who you are, well, there are a lot of cycling people here who are paying attention. But for non-cycling people, it was just a little over 4 years ago, I did a story with Corbin because he was hit by a drunk driver while riding his bicycle and injured really, really badly. And the fact that he survived that, the drunk driver was caught and sent to court, and I'm not able to tell you what the disposition of that case was, but if Corbin were here, he could certainly tell us. But just it's just another facet of his story that he just doesn't quit. And I bring that up because his experience and the impression he makes is referenced in this next part. Because I love the guy, and I told you I love you, man. But a lot of people know Corbin and like Corbin, and so as soon as we were done riding, and neither of us won the race that we went off to participate in, he got off the bike and he started taking pictures, and I followed him around just a little bit. Here you go.
Let's go! Go, Daryl!
What's the best thing about having Corbin out here taking pictures?
He's always in white, and I love that because it doesn't matter if it's the muddiest race of the year, white shirt, khaki pants.
Beaded belt.
You can always guarantee that he'll be in that.
And you know where to smile.
Exactly. He stands out.
That's Corbin's story.
Oh, it was at the Memorial Park race. He was camped at the top of a hill, and you could catch a little air, and he was trying to get people in the air. So I came right at him, whipped my wheel over, like right in his camera, and it came out to be this awesome shot.
The best thing is you get some pro shots of yourself looking awesome on the bike, and he knows all the angles to make you look good. So yeah, take advantage of that for sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, there we go.
A Corbin story. First one that comes to mind.
First one that comes to mind was after he had been hit by the car. We were at Terramount Park in the cross race, and he's all bandaged up, and he's having to use that walker, and he's out there taking pictures of us. He couldn't stay away. That's probably one of the best ones.
That's one of the best ones, and hence why I referenced the history, so that certainly makes sense. So you saw him taking pictures. Didn't even take his cycling shoes off. He's running around the velodrome in his cycling shoes and his kit because the race was on, and he wanted to take pictures. What kind of pictures, you may ask? Well, let's take a look at them. Corbin was kind enough to share the photo dump from that particular event, so we can look at it now, and let's see here. So there are hundreds of pictures here, and you never know which one's going to be great. You got a little posing going on right there, people taking hand ups there. It's one of my teammates, Carlos. That's the hand up crew there. These guys kicking back, and I like this next one here because, oh, look who's there on the upper right corner. There's Tom taking pictures of Corbin taking pictures. There's Frank. We saw him. That's Daryl getting the hand-ups as well. Let's get some of these other pictures, which show. And there was a couple of really notable ones here. The picture that Corbin snapped there on the stairwell, there it is. This guy wasn't posing; he just showed up. And another picture that we saw, Dad and his daughters. How cool is that? Former teammate Rodney Rios, strong rider. Let's see. I don't know all of these people. That's the winner of this race. This is the A race. This is the varsity race. They raced for 45 minutes. Zach Ross there came from behind. You notice the sand? Oh, man, the sand. So the deal about cyclocross is that there are obstacles, things you got to jump over, steps you got to climb, hills you got to climb, and junk you have to cycle through. So they created this sand pit here, and rare is the person who makes it cleanly through the sand without bobbling a little bit. Pamela there, she did just fine. That's Frank Cano, did just fine. Daryl, whoa, like the whoa face. And these are the kinds of things that just catch people's attention. The barriers here, it's a really great shot here. Look at this one coming up. Coming up right, there's Daryl. Look at this one, 3 people going over the barriers simultaneously. That's just a great shot. And he's there just taking pictures. And then there are also these pictures as well. People just mugging for the camera. Corbin will come right up. He'll stick the lens right in you, and you can keep a straight face, or you can mug just a little bit. So we got a little mugging as well. So one of the personalities that makes the whole deal, that is cycling and racing and events like that, just kind of fun. So that's why I share it with you. You notice there along the bottom, right there, there are various ways to get a hold of me. And I bring this up because over the weekend, a friend of mine who owns a bike shop hit me up with about a half a dozen great bike lane ideas. Very visual, very informative for all kinds of people. Whether you race bikes, whether you ride around the neighborhood, or you hit the trails, or you ride to school, there's something for everybody here and some great ideas. So hit me up, do the email, do the Facebook, do the X/Twitter, wherever you are. I'm not on Instagram. I could put Instagram here. Tom's Texas, TOMZ Texas. I'm not on the TikTok, so don't bother with that. But great ideas. Got one set up for next Monday, as a matter of fact, which is a great program in this season of giving, where some people are going to be getting some bicycles, which is just really fantastic. So I'm glad to share that as well. So I hope you're having a great opportunity to ride. It's going to be a little sloppy. It's going to be a little bit cold. The elements are changing, so it's cooler, it's windier, and sometimes rainier. So be safe. Keep the rubber side down. Hit me up with an idea. If you see me on a bike, please say hi. And if you're out on a bike and you see another cyclist, wave at them. It's just a good thing to do. They're in the bike lane, where everything is nice and we all get to ride bikes, and that is ultimately what's most important. Until next time, my friends, we'll see you right here. I'm Tom in the bike lane. See you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome singing sensation David Archuleta.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. And wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature see, and heaven and nature see, and heaven and when blossoms flower mid the snows upon a winter night, was born the child, the Christmas rose, the King of love and light. The angels sang, the shepherds sang, the grateful earth rejoiced. And at his blessed birth, the stars their exultation bore. heart with rapture close to greet the holy night that gave the world its Christmas rose, its King of love and light. Let every voice acclaim his name, the grateful chorus swells. From paradise to earth he came, Said the cat to the mouse in their dark little house in that stable so long ago. I am wondering why the bright star in the sky is shining upon us down below. And the night skies ring as the angels sing when love came down to the earth. And the night skies ring as the angels sing when the baby king had his birth. Said the mouse to the cat, as in wonder they sat, and they saw Mary's face filled with joy. Perhaps that star we can see is to tell you and me of the coming of this precious little boy. And the night skies ring as the angels sing when love came down to the earth. And the night skies ring as the angels sing when the baby king had his birth. Sleepy shepherds they saw as they crept through the door, and they brought little gifts to the child. As they gazed with love on the child from above, Mary turned to the shepherds and smiled. And the night skies ring as the angels sing when love came down to the earth. And the night skies ring as the angels sing when the baby king had his birth. So they happily sat, little mouse, little cat, as they heard Mary singing to her son, as she cradles with care little Jesus so fair. This baby, the Lord and the night